Hi, you're here with Zoe Arthurs from Business Basics. So today I thought we would have a look at the role of money. So what it means to have money, what it means to when you don't have money, and basically why it is we do have money. So if you've not seen my tutorial on what money is and where money's come from, you may find that quite interesting. So it's quite a loose topic. We're not going to delve into it too deeply, but it should just get you thinking about actually how you spend money, how you can generate additional finance, and hopefully how you can just sort of evaluate how your own personal finance and efficiency will impact you in the future. So when we're talking about money, quite often a person's own attitudes towards money is one of the key factors to being successful in business. So quite often when you start a business, it's how you determine how you manage your money will be how successful you are. So when it comes to managing money, quite often it can be referred to as a learnt behaviour. So it's how an individual's parents, for example, have managed their finances, you may find is very similar to your own methods. So you may also find that some people are quite risk takers. So they like to gamble, they like to have a flutter on the horses, and that's absolutely fine. But you may also find that some people are quite risk adverse. And again, that will link into how you are when you manage your own business, money and finance. So if you have traditionally been brought up with parents who are quite risk adverse, or they really take care of and they research everything before they consider whether to make that deal or not, you may actually see those personality traits within yourself. So it's quite interesting to look backwards at your parenting to see whether you're very similar in terms of the way that you manage your own money. Some people see money as a tool to get what they want without consideration to the value of the product they're purchasing. So this is where, before the crash, the economic crash, people were filled with store cards, credit cards, they were using overdrafts, they were basically living way beyond their means. And it basically means that actually you'll just frit it away, you'll buy anything you want, regardless of what the financial implications are for you. So it's just about making sure that actually you've got control of your finances, because before you start a business, it's really important that you get to grips with the very, very basics of managing personal finance. This will link into your business plan. So if, for example, you can show that you're managing your finances well in your personal life, the chances are you'll be able to gain a loan or investor and some financial security if you need to from banks, etc., if you can prove, again, that you are managing your personal finance correctly. So some people will also save money. So if you're a saver, your family is an avid saver, everything is put away for a rainy day fund. You may also find that you manage your savings that way as well, which is great for when you're looking at retained profit in your business. But it will also help you to identify actually things like interest rates and get a really good feel for how saving your money is going to benefit you going forward. So there are lots of different ways and attitudes that people can have towards money. And it really, as I say, is learnt behaviour from your own parents' experiences. So it's quite interesting, as I say, just have a little look back and see what sort of parenting styles they used when they were teaching you about finance, or whether they were quite risk adverse, or whether they were risk takers when they were sort of managing their own personal finances, because, as I say, it's quite often linked to how you are today. So in terms of age, there's different life stages. People go through different life stages when they're talking about money. And at different points in your life, money will serve a very different purpose. So when you're 0 to 4-year-olds, obviously, you don't really have a great deal to do with money, but you will have different needs. And then as you progress through your teenage years, actually, it's quite often about the fast car, the nice clothes, maybe some holidays. And as you progress through your 20s and 30s, obviously, then perhaps you're looking at sort of securing finance on a vehicle, perhaps purchasing a mortgage or paying rent. So you can see that actually money is just a tool to be used at different life stages. So what I just want you to think about is your financial needs and implications. And what this does is just allows you to look inwards a little bit at your personal finance. So looking at where you are in your lifestyle now, it will allow you to identify where the majority of your money is being spent, which is really important. I mean, for example, we have a Costa coffee at where I work, and I was paying £2 a day. Didn't sound like a lot to have a lovely hot chocolate, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But when you tot it up over the year, that's a huge amount that you're actually paying out. And the same can be said for things like packs of gum. You know, do you need that gum? If you total it up over the year, you can actually see where your money is going. Now, if you have a lot of those expenditures coming out of your bank account every single month, the chances are that actually you're fritting away your money and you're not actually really keeping a really good hold on it. So just consider before you buy anything. Obviously, we all have to live, we all have to have a life, and please, you know, we're not telling you to have that hot chocolate from Costa, but just be aware of where your finances are going, because quite often it gets to the end of the month and you don't actually know what you've done with all the money that you've received. So if you can keep an eye on that, make sure that you're not making any unnecessary expenditure, and just reviewing your own sort of purchasing habits, that will allow you to be more frugal when it comes to managing your own business finances. So in terms of things like the third world, they manage finances very differently. They think about money in a very different way. Quite often they don't have the amount of disposable income that we do here in the UK. So there are a couple of lessons that obviously we could learn from them, and I just want to show you those. So it's just about considering what we do with our money. And you can see that the source on this is 5 Money Lessons from the Third World. It was written by Craig Ford back in 2010, and you can find it on wisebread.com if you want to read the entire article. But I'm just going to basically pull out a couple of things. Now, in the UK, we live in a very disposable sort of scenario. We throw away things when they don't work, and we just sort of chuck it away and replace it. Well, in the third world, we know that actually they would much rather repair it. So things like washing machine buttons, quite often the washing machine is absolutely fine. It's just the button and the plastic clip behind it that needs replacing. So rather than replacing an entire washing machine, which could cost you £300-400, you may just want to consider actually could it be repaired. And again, that will allow you just to manage your cash far more frugally in terms of what you're spending your money on. So just make sure that you're being creative with what you have. Sometimes as well, when things are done, we sort of get rid of it. Well, consider using things like selling sites. Sell products that you no longer need to generate additional revenue. Use things like eBay, local selling pages on Facebook. Don't just chuck it away. Think about using it for generating extra sources of cash for you. But remember, what you should never do in business or personal is buy it if you don't have the cash. It's only going to lead to accumulated debt. You're going to be in huge trouble in the future if you want to get a mortgage. As an example, one of my friends tried to get a mortgage, and because their partner had gone 3 pence over in their overdraft 1 month, they were unable to secure the house. So just consider how these tiny little implications on your finances will actually affect your credit rating in the future. So make sure that you actually keep a hold of what it is you're spending it on and how much you're spending on a weekly basis. So just consider things like different religions, different cultures. We all have different experiences of money. Perhaps theirs is slightly different, but you may just want to have a look and research actually how they manage money. There's a fantastic book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'll put the link in the bottom. And it talks about how they manage money and actually how money is spent. So thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.